Hi guys, it's Tuesday Friday with FIXITGEARWARE-SECURITY, and hope you're all doing well today. With the whole problems going around the world regarding politicians and other issues around the world. I hope you're all taking life a little bit slow, and also for those who are still seeking for jobs, and for those who are facing one or two challenges at this period in time, keep being strong. Life in general, it's quite not easy, especially with the whole economic situations going around the world. And people putting in a lot of efforts, working hard, trying their best to make sure they achieve a lot of things in life, but seems like nothing is moving forward. It's okay. You don't have to beat yourself up. You don't have to worry about tomorrow. I know it's difficult, especially when you're in a situation whereby you cannot even afford your basic needs or provide for your family, or be able to pay for your shelter. But this is life. The fact that you are going to be alive to see another day is a sign that you are destined for something great here on earth. So don't give up. Don't beat yourself up way too much. It's okay once in a while you can think, but don't make it too obvious like there is no tomorrow for you. Keep being strong, keep trying your best, keep putting in your best out there. And for those who are still seeking for jobs or who are struggling to secure a position, keep sending those applications. I know sometimes it's going to be very weary and very exhausting, especially when you have been putting out a lot of efforts and with your confidence in your skills and still not getting responses from interviewers and future employers. It makes you feel like there is no hope, or in some cases like you have no future. But it's okay. Just see it as another day whereby you go out, to have fun. But let's say it's raining, right? You definitely go back home, and the fun for that day you're going to suspend it, right? So just see these job applications in such light, or view it from this perspective. And tomorrow you keep trying again, keep sending those applications, keep praying, keep putting in your best, and everything is going to be okay when the time is right. So for today's Tools Friday, we are shifting the paradigm. We know out there's been a lot of tools, talking about bug bounty, penetration testing. And of course, we have also, demonstrated a few of these tools ourselves. And these tools we have demonstrated are quite part of the A-list tools you can use in your penetration testing and ethical hacking. But like the goal of FIXITGEARWARE-SECURITY is not about hacking, penetration testing. At FIXITGEARWARE-SECURITY, our goal is to talk about coding, which is part of our training at FIXITGEARWARE-SECURITY. This coding aspect of our training is to help newbies in cybersecurity, or those who are not just newbies but are looking forward to build tools which we know as open source tools in the community, as a way of showing their own contributions towards the propagation of cybersecurity. We also talk about offensive security, which of course is the penetration testing, bug bounty, whereby we'll be demonstrating various tools. And these tools, we believe, are the tools everyone needs out there to, participate in various bug bounty programs. Then also we talk about forensics, which of course is about defenders, blue teamers, and so on. So here we'll be talking about tools as well in forensics and how you can use these tools as well. Then on information security, it's a generic subject matter, not just tools, but also trying to, make our various family here on social media or viewers to have an idea of these various jurisdictions in cybersecurity and how they can be interconnected or related when practicing the profession cybersecurity. So for this week, we'll be talking about EDR, which is known as the Endpoint Detection Response Tool. EDR, we all know, has been common terminology out there, especially for modern technologies. And if you are familiar with job descriptions and job requirements, most organizations will talk about EDRs and mention the specific EDR services they use to, give an idea to the candidate who is vying for that position to know what their infrastructure is all about. So most challenges about these EDRs is that most times either they are paid services, or they are difficult to deploy, or they require users to, have an official domain name for email registration. But we all know this, that not everyone is financially capable, especially for newbies. And this poses a challenge for them to learn, because now every job you seek out there will tell you they want experience. And it's sad because when you talk about experience, it's funny because these candidates which you are relegating to not have this experience need to work before they can be able to, have that experience. And there's no way they can have that experience without you giving them a job, right? Of course, okay, let's now assume that they don't have the experience. Now they want to also learn. The resources out there to teach are more of like a surface level. So when I mean a surface level, is like this candidate, they see the product or the lectures in actions, either through presentations or through a few demonstrations, without actually feeling it, giving them that perspective of practicing, installing the tool on their system and deploying these various agents and see how it works. So this poses a challenge when it comes to cybersecurity. But at FIXITGEARWARE-SECURITY, we will be breaking this out of the system by the way we teach our programs and we conduct our trainings, so that candidates who watch these various presentations we make are not just only going to understand what we are doing, but they can also, at their free time, practice those things on their own local machines. The only requirement you will need is that you ensure you have at least a computer and you're able to afford an internet. It doesn't matter for those who are limited by bandwidths based on the jurisdictions or geolocations in terms of the countries where they are residing. But at the end of the day, whatever we are going to teach you, you'll be able to replicate these instances, these presentations in your own local machines, practice them, read more about them, and as well come up with your own ideas on how you can implement these various EDRs. So for today's EDRs demonstration, we'll be demonstrating an EDR and we'll be using a VirtualBox machine. We will deploy the agent on the VirtualBox machine, and we're going to connect with the EDR client and, of course, demonstrate a few functionalities which these EDR services we are demonstrating today provides. So with that being said, let's get started for this week's episode. So before we get started, let's have an understanding of what an EDR is all about. So when it comes to cybersecurity, we're talking about the system administrator and blue team jurisdictions, and of course the DevSecOps. EDR is known as an Endpoint Detection Response Tool, and it's built to enable security teams or employees to respond to endpoint devices such as mobile phones, desktop, laptops, and IoT devices without the need of being present physically on that particular device. So EDR also gives the functionalities of remote connections. Let's say I work for an organization that is based in somewhere outside the United States or somewhere outside any continent, right? And I am the one taking care of their infrastructure in terms of patching the vulnerabilities, updating the applications they use, and other functionalities, right? So I can decide to deploy various agents on their system by two ways: by giving them a link to download the agent, which of course would have been pre-configured by the provider of the EDR services, or I share it as a file, like I download the file myself on my system, then I send it as an attachment to the various organizations, employee, and instruct them on what to do in terms of installing this agent of the EDR services I'm using. So EDR provides a lot of functionalities, and part of the functionalities includes continuous monitoring. So you can constantly monitor the endpoint device activities in real time and detect anomalies, which also might indicate a threat. So these anomalies can be malwares, they can be some intrusion, and it's based on the type of EDR services you are using. Not all EDR services provides that, but most EDR services right now, with the sophistication of technology and more advanced use of the cloud computing, most EDR services provide this real-time detection of malware. The second is that it provides threat detection. So EDR tools employs advanced analytics in identifying various potential threats and malware, which also can pose as a ransomware. So ransomware basically is a kind of malware that encrypts a user's device and restrict them from accessing that device or files that are stored in that device. So threat actors are known to use these various ransomware to extort. It's called a financial extortion, whereby they tell the user to pay a fee known as ransom in order to obtain a key to decrypt the device or unlock the device files that were stored so that they can be able to gain access to their system. And the third functionalities of an EDR is that it provides response capabilities. So the EDR tool can take action swiftly and to contain and remediate these threats, while also notifying the security team for further investigation. So when these threats are discovered or noticed, depending on the security configuration set up by the administrator of the EDR services, this EDR tool are able to perform some certain actions, which includes remediation, while providing additional information of what was done on the host machine where the agent was installed, and as well give an insight of what really went wrong on that device. On the fourth point, it provides visibility and context. So an in-depth insight of the nature and scope of the threat, thereby enabling the security researcher or team in understanding these threats and provide effective response. So it's like we previously described, the EDR would analyze these anomalies. Usually it works with a series of database configurations or files, which it has coordinating with what has been detected on the user's machine. So these EDR services, they also do their own research and they assess a lot of CVEs on the internet. These CVEs are already reported or detected anomalies or viruses or malware, which has been known in the wild to cause damages to users on the internet. So these EDR services will use those signatures to understand the same signature of the detected malware on that device which the agent runs pertinent to that EDR services. So with this understanding, it can now say, okay, this is what I detected and this is the signature and I have already fixed this. So you should have an idea of what's went on and find a way to look further as the system administrator or the security expert responsible for that device or endpoint to further dig more information on how to possibly ensure that such occurrences doesn't occur in the future. So it's not just about detecting malware, it tells us a lot of things about it. And this will be showing you when we are going to use the EDR service, which we'll be demonstrating today. We'll be able to see what happens, how it assesses the device, which is of course the VirtualBox machine, and furthermore tells us the vulnerabilities and the threats detected. So moving on to the EDR for today. Today we'll be demonstrating Action 1 EDR services. So what is Action 1? Action 1 is an enterprise solution company that provides endpoint detection and response services. Their EDR services includes automated vulnerability patching for Windows operating systems and third-party applications installed on the system. So basically, if you are using Action 1, the endpoint solution they provide is for Windows-based operating system. Like we also previously said that EDR services varies. So some EDR services provide solution and do some advanced remediation, while some are limited to certain functionalities. For Action 1, the EDR service is not cross-platform, so it's only for Windows operating system. Unlike certain EDR services like Wazor provides for almost all platforms, Windows, macOS, Linux, and other operating system and so on. So for Action 1, it's basically for Windows, and it's an awesome tool. I will tell you, if you really are a system administrator or DevSecOps or Defender, there's nothing as beautiful as using an EDR services that is properly defined on what they do, and with that, you can also have an understanding on how to use their tool in remediating your endpoint devices. Also, Action 1 services extends to patch solutions for servers and workstations as well. So they provide that, but these are based on Windows operating system. You can read more about them, which will be showing you the link later, while providing real-time scalability for enterprise distributed networks. So what it does is that while you're still running these updates in real time, you do not have any need to worry about like, okay, will this take down your services and crash your system or something like that. So when we talk about scalability here, we're talking about more improvements will be added regarding various enterprise distributed networks. So get an understanding of what it really does in terms of an in-depth solutions they provide. It's very important to go through Action 1's documentation, because you will have to have an understanding of what their EDR services is all about. So just like every EDR, to use the Action 1 EDR, you need to create an account, and the agent will be deployed on the various endpoint devices. So like we previously said, this can be done remotely. Let's say I have a contract with an organization to like maintain their systems, right? I can decide to tell them that, okay, there's no problem. I will take care of your systems, and this is what you're going to be paying me every month to take care of your devices. I will make sure it's up and running. There are no issues. And if there are issues, just give me a call. I will log into the cloud and I will check whatever vulnerabilities and I'll try to fix this. And if you're really technical, I wouldn't be going in depth in technical terms of these EDR services. That will come in our paid courses next year. But if you're really technical, you will really understand the various things you need to do. Also, you don't want to mess up. Sorry that it's funny. You don't also want to mess up the organization system, right? Because not everything has to be updated. Not every security update or patches you receive or reported by your EDR client, you need to deploy to the host machines or these endpoint devices you're managing, because certain deployments can mess everything up. Just like we recently heard a few hours ago what happened with CrowdStrike, right? Everybody was in a panic, and not just a panic, this is a real-time problem that affected the airports, the POS payment, merchant tellers, railway stations, ticketing systems, and all that who were using CrowdStrike. And it's funny because it's just a bug issue, but the bug issue affected the entire Windows operating system. So we're having this endless loop of the blue screen of death. All those things you should know about an EDR services. Don't just, move with the buzzwords. Take your time, study, sit down. Cybersecurity is not something you just go with the trends. Nothing is running away. As long as it's not as far as a decade ago, it's still going to be here. Like if you look out there, everybody's talking about LLM, AI and all that. And when I look at, the presentations they give out there, it's sad because, these people don't know the fundamentals, the basics. They are just following the buzzwords. So don't follow the buzzwords like, okay, everybody's talking about EDR. Let me just jump on EDR. Everybody's talking about LLM or AI. Let me jump on that. So have an in-depth understanding of whatever services you are going to get yourself involved with. it is very important you have an understanding of these various services, because if you don't have an understanding, then you know nothing. You're just wasting your time. Cybersecurity is, the industry is moving way fast, but not as fast as you think it is moving. It's not like technology is going to come out today and by tomorrow it's going to be obsolete. At least give or take, that technology coming out today, it's going to take like 4 or 5 years before it's fully absorbed, and give or take, before it gets phased out in the market, it's going to take like, let's say 10 to 15 years. So if you can take 6 months to 1 year to learn about this technology, you have additional 9 years to flex on the buzzwords and the terminologies. So don't just jump into things because people are saying it. Understand the fundamentals, understand the basics. And that's the reason why we're here at FIXITGEARWARE-SECURITY, because we want to put everything for you together so that you can be able to, move forward in this profession called cybersecurity. And one beautiful thing also about Action 1 is that it covers about 300 endpoints for a lifetime. So when you sign up for their services, of course, the free services is going to enable you to deploy your agents to 100 endpoints. So these endpoints are like computers, desktops that are Windows-based operating system. And the maximum you can achieve for a lifetime is 100. So if you decide that you want to deploy additional endpoints, you either have to make a payment by buying the premium services, of course, or you have to discard a few of your endpoints to include a new endpoint. But I would suggest, if you get to that stage of your career whereby you're handling a lot of organizations' endpoint devices, then don't, discard and integrating another endpoint. Just pay a few dollars for their services, and of course, enjoy the premium package that comes with that. So to sign up for the services, you need a corporate account, like we previously said. But today we'll be showing you a trick, and the essence why we decided to share this trick is because we are very passionate about newbies getting into the profession who do not have the fundamental training. So we'll be teaching you all these things based on our research conducted and the findings we've discovered. We want you guys to learn. We want you guys to understand. We want you guys to have the fundamental knowledge so that you can flex on this. Even when you go to interview, you can confidently talk about those things. Demonstrate those things. You don't have to spend money. The basics will teach you. You don't have to spend money. But if you want an in-depth nature of how to, become more technical and be a guru to, play some tricks with these endpoint devices, that will come with our paid courses. But whatever we teach you is sufficient enough to, flex on an interview. At least the employer, if they are not being so mean, would understand that, okay, you have an idea of what you're doing, because it takes a lot of skills to be able to deploy something on a virtual box that is not a real device, and also getting a premium email services to obtain such authorization to run such tools. So today we'll be showing you that. We'll demonstrate this. We'll have an existing email already, so we'll use that existing email to sign up for the services, and of course show you what we'll do. Now on the screen here, you would see something that has to do with antivirus allow list settings, right? So this code here, it's not a code, it's just a few paths or directory locations that you have to include after you've installed the agent if you're using an antivirus. So if you're using an antivirus, you need to include these paths, because when it comes to EDR services, these EDR services would always be seen as a malicious application based on the traffic. It's like a communication. If you're familiar with backdoors, this is exactly how the EDR works. Okay, so it's like a backdoor. This backdoor comes some keylogger functions like having an RDP and going through your files, scanning through your system, checking all applications installed through API calls, communicate with the cloud of the client, which you're using to control these various endpoint devices. And of course, tell you what they discovered in these various endpoint devices in terms of vulnerabilities, updates that are necessary, and malware detected. All this information will be displayed to you on the client side, which is of course either an entire computer which the application will be installed, or if you're using a web browser to access the client side of the EDR services. So if you have an antivirus, you have to, specify these paths after you've installed the EDR on your computer. So let's demonstrate this installation today. First, you have to have an understanding. Here, you can see here, you go to Yahoo Mail and you sign up for an email. Ensure that here you select this My Yahoo. So this particular email is not flagged by Action 1. So you can use this email to sign up for the EDR services. So that's the trick. Okay, if you use your normal Gmail account and normal email account, it's going to bounce you out and tell you that they require you to use your professional account. So sign up for Yahoo, go to Yahoo, sign up, create an account, then use My Yahoo. Don't use yahoo.com, use myyahoo.com. So we'll start up our VirtualBox machine, which is the Windows, and we'll sign up for a new account with Action 1. So we are going to use our Windows operating system. We'll log in here. So this is an obsolete window. It's okay. So the next thing we want to do right now is that we want to go to Action 1 official website. I'm going to show you something. So here you can see we already signed up the Yahoo Mail. So and then we copy this. Then you come here. You click on Action 1. You scroll down here. You see here that says set up an account, right? Now I want to show you something. If I put this right now and put gmail.com, you're going to see what's going to happen. Please use a corporate email account. So you see, it doesn't work, right? So we do something different. We use the myyahoo.com and we should have an account shortly. Okay, now it picks up, tells us to enter our first name. First, I will enter my name. So just pick this. You can pick whatever it is in terms of your organization size. And for here, you can use a password. So I'm going to blur out my password later for you weirdos. So for phone numbers is optional, but you can opt out not to put your phone number. One more thing one more thing you should know about Action 1 is that once you sign up, right, they would automatically switch your account to the 2FA with email. So even though you don't enable that, they will do that for you automatically. And once you try to log in next time, they would always send you a code. So you see, it's very secure. So let's say someone tries to compromise your account and try to use your email to log in, right? Maybe they have your password for the Action 1. So for every login, a verification code will be sent to your email. So definitely make sure that the password you use for Action 1 is not the same password you use for your email. So whenever the user tries to compromise your account, which of course is not possible anyway, because you definitely use a very strong password, they will be redirected to retrieve a code. And if they are not able to put the code, there's no way they can log in. So we come here, we say we agree. Of course, we have to agree with the terms. We say create account. Now An authorization code should be sent to us shortly. If it's not going to take some time. Good. So we come to our email, we refresh. Good. Then we come here, we copy this code, and we go back to action 1. We put this, paste. You can select remember this device if you're using your personal computer. So I won't tick this because it's just a demo. So I just click on submit. Now you can see it tells us download the agent, copy the URL. So if let's say you have various clients you're handling and you want them to install this agent, you just copy the URL and send to them. And once they, click on that URL, they'll be able to download the agent. Okay. But due to the VirtualBox disabling these drag and drop functionalities, we'll not be able to do that. So all we're going to do is that we're going to log in. Hold on. Did I copy this password? I hope I did. Let me see. Oh, okay. I did not. Never mind. So let's do something. Okay. So I cannot remember. I didn't copy down this password. That was a mistake I made. So let's see. Good. Now you can see here enterprise admin, my time zone. Plus I'm going to blur that part out so you guys know my where I'm staying. So let's see. Help, profile. So how do I forgot my password? Okay, it's okay. Let's just go to password settings. Let me look for password. So I'm coming now. I just need to retrieve that password. Okay, we're lucky. Our password was saved. So we'll use what's we call that stuff again. Passkeys. We'll use our passkey to log in. So we'll use our passkey to log in. Okay, so luckily we saved the password here. So we'll copy the password and put in a text file. Okay, let's put it somewhere here. Okay, now the reason why I'm putting the password here is because we want to deploy the agent, this agent, right? We want to deploy it on our VirtualBox machine, but we cannot download this and drag and drop. And of course, if we send the link also, the copy and paste would not work because that functionality have been disabled in VirtualBox. Also, remember previously we told you about the 300 endpoint devices, right? See, free access all once for 100 endpoint devices. So this is free. So you can send this agent via a link or download it and attach it as a file and send it to 100 devices. So once they install it, action 1 is going to pick the various endpoint device and configure it on its client side of the application, which is this. So here you can see here on the dashboard, we do not have anything, right? So we can say go back. You can see we don't have anything here, right? So it's for you to understand what's going on. Update approval, nothing is here, right? Custom reports, there's nothing here. So by the time we're done installing this agent right now, you're going to see all these things right here. So what we do is that where's that password? So I'll do this way so we don't make a mistake. I'll come here, go to action 1. Now here you can choose your server. You can choose North America and Europe. Once we are done doing this thing, I will show you a documentation that is very important, because this documentation is very important that you set it up in your firewall role because without this installed or set up in your firewall role, there's a problem. Your computer will not be able to send outbound traffic. And by not sending outbound traffic, there is no way the client side of the Action 1 EDR will be able to receive information about the device, such as the application installed that are out of date, the vulnerabilities that the machine contains, the malware detected, and so on. So bear in mind, we'll be doing this after we've done this demonstration. We'll show you where you get this information from. And of course, at the end of this video, we'll also be, attaching those links as well in the description. So here we copy our email. Sorry about that. Our email is okay. And of course we put the password. Where is that password again? So good. Now once we try to log in, you see what's going to happen right now. Now you see, we never configure this stuff, right? But by default, they have set it up to secure your account. So even though you are hacked or someone got your username and password, as long as the username and password they obtained is not the same as your email, there is no way they can be able to gain access to that account. And here you can see we've gotten a notification. So this is the code. We'll enter the code here. So it's 468821. So we submit. So the reason why we did this is because we want to install this agent here in this. So we do not need this password anymore. You can see we're still here. So let's increase this so you can get an idea of what is happening. So the next thing we do is that we download this agent. Now, once it's done, we install it. One more thing you should also be aware of is that you have to install this as an administrator. Okay, this is a Windows 7 machine. So you open. By default, it's going to run as an administrator. So you click run, then you click next. You click I accept, and you click next, and you click install. So this should be done. Now I purposely left this client side of the application open, so you see what's going to happen now. So I click yes. So you click finish. Now it's detecting our Windows is counterfeit because Action 1 is trying to communicate to the server. And of course it's counterfeit because it's a pirated Windows 7 just for training purposes and to make the machine vulnerable. Now we click next. You see our device has been picked. You can see the device and it tells us it's Windows 7. Now if you come here, you click on CMD and you click on IP config. So you can see this is our IP address, this is our IP address. Of course, it's a private IP address pertinent to this VirtualBox machine. So we close this. Now, if we come to the dashboard, you will be seeing this will be running like this, right? Good. And now you can see it has detected that we have one endpoint device. And this is the total number of vulnerabilities. Of course, because we have a lot of messed up application installed on this device or this endpoint. And you can see installed software is 539 missing updates, last seen in 7 days, then more detailed reports. Okay, so now what I wanted to tell you is that because previously we've done this thing, is you come to Firewall. Okay, you come to Windows Firewall. Sorry, not this one. Firewall. So you can say allow programs through Firewall. Here you check if there is 443 enabled. So if there is no 443 enabled, you close this. Then you come back here. You say Firewall. Made a mistake. Firewall with advanced security settings. Then you come here. You look for outbound. So outbound rows, right? You look for 443. This port, right? If you're having issues with detecting the host machine, or the machine that the agent was installed. So you come here, you click enable role. So now 443 can now send traffic. You can see any communications. So let me show you this on the documentation. If you come to this documentation, where is the guide? You can see for various cloud deployer, there are a lot of things for agents and deployer. Let me show you something. Now you see for outbound, deploying apps and third-party patch management, you need this port. So make sure you enable this. Okay, it's very important. Make sure this is enabled. You can see also for the agents, these ports are very important. So make sure it's enabled via the firewall rule. So make sure you enable them. So yeah, let's just do the same thing here. Good, it has picked the device, so we can log out from our VirtualBox because this machine is vulnerable. We don't want to expose it to the public internet. Good. Now I want to show you something. Now let's talk about while this device is running, right? Let's talk about Action 1 EDR. So we can come to the vulnerabilities section. You can see these are the various CVEs detected. So here we can click on start remediation. So if I click on start remediation, I wouldn't do that because we have a lot of things we are running on that machine. So click on start remediation. It's going to tell us a few things. Good. Now, if we click on this, mark as deploy update, mark as uninstall software, mark. So if we mark as deploy update, right, we can click this. Then you click, is it now for some of the selected vulnerabilities are not available in Action 1, consider uninstalling this application for applying corresponding controls. So here we select this one, right? Not this one. We select this one. So here it's telling us that there is no update, so we can uninstall, right? If we click next right now, then once we click next, it's going to uninstall it, but I'm not trying to uninstall that software, okay? So we cancel this. Now we can come to, let's come to this one. So we can say start remediation. So the endpoint is this, right? So we can click on start remediation. Now we select this, deploy updates, then we click on next. Now you can see it tells us information by who applied the update, which is me, the CVSS score of the vulnerability, the date applied, the attack vector, the remediation status overdue. Remediation deadline was in 2009. So you can see once I put some information here, right? This is going to be in the report. Then I click on finish. This will be updated. So I don't need this. Let me go back to the vulnerabilities. Let me just look for something that's not going to affect the device. Okay, let's do for tenables, right? So we come here, we say start remediation. I think that one should be okay. Good. So I can just click deploy updates and say new updates applied, right? Specify some documentations as well, and I click on finish. Good. Now we can go to update approval for update approval. Now here, these are the updates that requires our approval. So this is for Firefox, the browser. This is for Notepad++. But I wouldn't be updating this. Like we said, we made this machine vulnerable for penetration testing. Now you can come to built-in reports. So these are the reports built in by Action 1, right? You can click here. So you can click for hardware inventory. Then you can click for firmware and BIOS. So you can click on this. You can see it detected our machine, right? It's VirtualBox. You can see the PC, of course, the manufacturer, because it's running on VirtualBox. Now we can go back again to click on data sources here. So this is basically everything about the Action 1's data source. So whatever they are doing on the system, this is where they pull its data from. Okay. Then for audit trail, you can see it gets everything we did on the device. And here you can see everything, every of the action type, event type, sorry, for login, for remote connect, for remote disconnect. Great. So as an admin, this is all I can do, okay, to all users. Then I want to show you how to shut down this device. You can actually shut down the device. So I can come here. Good. Now I can click on reboot. Okay. And you can see you can use the remote desktop. So if I come here right now, sorry, say remote desktop, you're going to see what's going to happen. Now, accept. So this is how we are troubleshooting this computer right now. So if I come to action 1, you can see, I want you to see right now, you can see what we are doing, right? You can see we open this. Good. So if I come here right now, I open Chrome on the user's computer. You can see right now, and I click on action 1. I'm doing this remote desktop connection. Okay. But not all EDR services can offer this. Especially when you have, let's say, if you're using Apple devices, right? When you have issues like this is exactly what these organizations do. They use their EDR to connect to your device remotely and perform all necessary actions they have to perform. Now, let me go back to the EDR. So this is the Windows, right? I can now close this session. And I think we are done with that. So let's reboot this device. I want you to see something. How powerful the EDR can do. So let's say after you've executed patches and updates, right? You can come here and you can say reboot. Just 4 minutes. Check computer maintenance and we rebooted. Please save all your works. It's okay. Next step. So you need to select the endpoint. If you have multiple endpoints you want to reboot at the same time, you can just add them and reboot them. So it's just this one, right? So you can click on next. So you can click run once, not every day, okay? Because you can schedule time frame when you want to run. You configure specific time you want to run, okay? So, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to make sure this is not done. So automation completion deadline should be this. So let's say you want to deploy an automated update, right? So you can specify the time which you want that to be complete. You can say in 24 days, in 24 hours, in 24 minutes and all that. So here we'll just click run now. I want you to see something. Okay. Now you can see our telling us reboot now, right? So the user has to accept and that's it. So you can see remotely this was done and it's telling us it's rebooting the system right now. So there's a lot of functionalities that action 1 provides. Take your time and go through their EDR. I'll tell you the truth is that action 1 is awesome, especially when it comes to EDR services. You should look out for EDR services that have a narrow focus of what they are doing. Okay, because as you can see, our device is up. So we are done with this presentation. We are going to shut this down. So we discuss a few things before we round up this video. So just go through the EDR services and documentation. Like I said, we are not going into technical aspect of action 1, and this is not a promotional video. We did not contact them. We just went through their EDR services and we found that they have an awesome stuff, especially for the free endpoint devices that spans across 100 users. So you can deploy up to 100 agents. So let's say you have friends who have, you belong to a group of friends that are in a community and uses VirtualBox. You can tell them that, okay, just deploy this agent. I want to see how I can use this EDR services to learn something about action 1. So as you can see, it tells us success. So the reboot was done and it tells us the time So you can see waiting for Endpoint to run the automation. So there's some updates we deployed, right? So we're waiting for that Endpoint to accept it. So here you can create new groups. Okay. These new groups here, you can add criteria such as the units, agent install date, agent version, CPU name, MAC addresses, RAM, reboot required. And here you can exclude endpoints you don't want to add to this group. Okay. And uptime alerts, notify me when endpoint have been offline for more than 10 minutes. So this group is basically, like I said, is the notification system, right? Whereby you'll be notified about a lot of things. Let's say maybe the device suddenly just crashed. Definitely there's a problem, right? So you set up the notification system. For new endpoints, here you check. So here we just have only this Windows 7. We deploy more agents. We'll be seeing all the endpoints here. Scheduled reports. Okay, for this one is the paid premium. So we cannot be able to see that. So let's check the audit trail. So recently we can check. This one is what we did. Reboot now message and give us time to finish work. So this is what we just conducted, right? So this is where you get it from the audit trail. So from this audit trail, you can be able to understand what's going on the device. So here you can see here, connection type, assistance, and let's see, product enableness use, new updates applied. So now we have sent a new update, right? We're waiting for the user to accept it and update the tenableness. Then me, subscription, weekly update summary, weekly patch statistics, enabled weekly at this time. So this is just basically how this endpoint works. This is just the basic connection. There are more advanced features you can run with this Action 1 endpoint device. And of course, you can see here, these are the vulnerabilities, right? A lot. We have about 1075 vulnerabilities. And let's go back. Go to back dashboard. Then missing updates. Sorry, we didn't show you this. So these are all the updates, the files we need to update. We have not updated. So this is the versions, that was released and that we missed. So you can see how this works. Then installed softwares. So these are the software we installed on the device, right? Like we previously showed you. Automation. Okay, we did not deploy anything yet. Then for history, let's see what we did. So reboot now. This is here you get the history of what you did. And of course, it's going to tell you if everything went well or not. So there are more to this. It's a dashboard. Come in. So you can see the compliance, right? So let's click here. This is the same thing here. So we can click on CVE. We can vulnerable software. It tells us the Python and the version, then details. So here we're going to see details about this is the CVSS score, right? So here you can see confidentiality, partial, integrity, partial, availability, partial. So access vector, which is attack vector, should be network. So network communication is required. And of course, we have a CVSS score of 6.8. So let's click for critical, which is 9.3. Here you will see exploitability score is 8.6. Impact score is 10. So complexity type is medium, so it's not that too difficult. Confidentiality, impact, complete, integrity, complete, availability, complete. So basically, this is how the basic information about Action 1. But when you pay for the subscription, there are more functionalities you would see, and not just limited to the 100 endpoint devices. So now you've known what EDR is all about and how EDR works. You should take your time, create an account with this trick we've shown you, and don't be too loud about it. This is just a training. Don't go about on social media to, propagate this stuff to just show off. You can share with your friends, but if things like this are noticed, they might be flagged. Then existing users will be likely to use this email method, but you that has made this open for new users who do not have money to create a domain name or get a company email, and it's a limitation, right? So share with your friends, teach them, show them, but be discreet about it at the same time. So you can use this to up your skills and learn something new. There's nothing complex about cybersecurity. The only challenge is that most new beginners or newbies do not get the fundamentals, right? So this poses a challenge when it comes to cybersecurity, and most times can throw you into an utter state of confusion whereby you don't even know where you want to start from, right? So that will be solving all these issues here at FIXITGEARWARE-SECURITY. So make sure that you not just only watch these videos as well, share with your friends, subscribe, leave those comments for the algorithm. And if there is any way we can improve this, of course, right now we're working with limited resources. So please bear with us. The videos are not yet sophisticated in terms of this, presentation, fusion kind of motion and animations, right? And transition, because it's a training. We're not doing these things fancy. We want you to learn. So take your time, practice this, install your VirtualBox machine, deploy the agent, connect the agent to your client over the cloud, go through these things, and of course go through the documentations, there's a lot of things out here. There's a lot of things you can see for authentication, Okta, Google, for real-time reports and other functionalities. But if you're gonna be here next year, of course, what I mean by that, if we're all alive, if the world is not gonna end, just joking, we're gonna be alive anyway. We'll be going in depth about various EDR services, where you will be learning a lot of things. Nessus is also a form of EDR services, but it's just that Nessus has some complex functionalities, and of course comes with a cost. So not all services on the Nessus is free. So yeah, Nessus also can serve as an EDR as well. So try your best, practice this which you have seen here today, and remember, okay, I forgot to tell you something. Okay, whenever you want to get an EDR services, you need to check out those points. First, you have to ensure that the EDR services you want to get for your organization is tailored to the services your organization requires or provides. So you don't just get an EDR application because they have a lot of functionalities. You might not need those functionalities. Of course, you're deploying these agents, right? And these agents will be scanning the device and sending you reports. You don't want a situation whereby these various computer systems are slowed down, which of course is not good, right? So don't just get EDR services. Get EDR services that are based on the services that you require. You want to perform on the various endpoint devices or based on the services your organization provides. So that EDR will be able to solve or provide solutions regarding those services on those various endpoint devices. Also choose EDR services that have reputations. Reputations of these organizations are very important, based on users rating, based on users ranking, based on what users have said about the organization. It's very important for you to know all these things, because at the end of the day, getting a service is as important as using the service. So it's not just getting it, but also using it as well, right? So you want to get something people are highly recommending and not just something you feel like because they say they are going to provide a lot of functionalities, then let me go for it. Also learn to choose EDR services that are based on various organization choice. So like Action One, let me see if we can go through their homepage. Let's see something. So you can see here, oh, sorry about it. You can see the awards. So industry awards, they are well known. Just in 2024 so far, they've gotten a lot of awards. And industry choice, you can see eBay uses it, ca.gov, Canada uses it, Baxter, Purell, Coca-Cola, Nestle. So you can see, and they have patched over 10 million endpoint devices. So, and their non-compliance endpoints is just less than 1%. So that's a very, very high ranking and a very, very high reputation. Okay, so these are very important. Okay, you check out for this information. They are very, very important. Then whenever you install this EDR services, okay, in terms of the agents, ensure that there is a local IT guy there that knows how to track the paths, okay, in terms of the directory where these agents were installed. Now you might be wondering why. It's because at the end of the day, you can see what we demonstrated here, right? Not all EDR services can provide this functionality, but you can see remotely we could be able to log into the user's desktop and do some configurations. Now you might be asking, well, why is that possible? Because EDR services, basically, we want to be able to remotely communicate with the device, right? And of course, set some configurations whereby the user will not be able to be technical to maybe bypass some security functionalities in order to allow the machine where the agent is installed to communicate with the cloud where the EDR client is running. Okay, so this is very important for you to know those parts so that when you're no more using that services, you can be able to uninstall them. And of course, in Windows, after you've uninstalled the software, you also have to delete the residues or the fragments of those files in the registry files. Okay, so learn how to access the registry file paths, of course, by using regedit. For those who do not know how to do that, just use the Windows R command and type regedit. Regedit is spelled as hold on, let me get this presentation. So regedit is spelled as this, regedit. So you can spell regedit like this when you use the Windows R command to access the machine and delete the residue or the fragment files, so that when you install in the future these agents or new agents, the system will not recognize them with old configurations. Okay, so learn about these things, take your time, study. As you study, you can add this in your resume. So when you add this to your resume, you describe how you deployed the EDR, how you scanned with the EDR, how you use this EDR to deploy updates, reboot the system, communicate with the system remotely. These things are part of what you would do when you're working for the organization. Okay, so they want you to show them these things. And of course, you can also tell them that you also can deploy EDR that's not going to cost them much. Of course, if you're being paid in the organization, definitely you can recommend this for them or to them. But if you're an IT expert whereby you're handling this as a business, then of course you wouldn't want to recommend something based on your own ideology. So you have to ask them what type of services they offer or they have. Then by so doing, you can now explore options in terms of the specific EDR that can meet the needs of the organization. So with that, we have finally come to an end with this week's episode, and we hope you've learned something new. It's a long or lengthy video because we had to first of all get you familiar with the definitions of what EDR is all about, and also talk a few things about Action 1, then create an account, and download the agent, then deploy the agent, and show you a few functionalities. And with this, you have definitely understood what Action 1 EDR is all about. So if you want to explore the complex part of the EDR, you can either get a subscription or read further documentation, which is provided on the official website, or you can wait for us next year when we'll be talking about our paid courses on endpoint devices, because next year we're going with penetration testing and everything about cybersecurity, but in a very structured and well-organized manner. So it's not just about putting out content out there. We'll make sure that whatever content we put out there is based on our internal plans for you guys next year. Okay. So if you find this video interesting, please do not hesitate to give us a like by tapping that thumbs up button, subscribe by hitting that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell so you'll be the first to get notified when next we post another episode of Choose Friday with FIXITGEARWARE-SECURITY. Thanks for watching and see you next week. Bye for now.